Today I'm doing an experiment that I've been wanting to do for a long time. We're going to test out 3 12-volt electric trolling motors to see what the differences are between them. The first one is a Shakespeare Sigma 14 pound of thrust trolling motor that's probably 50, 60 years old. It's been sitting in my garage since I got it. It came with my first John boat. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the dust on it. This thing has not been out in a long time. The second motor we're going to try is a Minn Kota 30. So it's 30 pounds of thrust. This is the Endura. This is the one that you can buy brand new everywhere right now. Walmart, Dick's, Cabela's, Bass Pro, all of the other outdoor places. The third one is a Minn Kota 55 pound of thrust saltwater trolling motor. It's got a bigger motor than the 30, which has a bigger motor than the 14. But on a small boat like this, I wonder how fast they all go and how they feel and how they operate. Is there much difference between 14 pounds of thrust, 30 pounds of thrust, and 55 pounds of thrust when it's a small boat with one person in it? To address a question some of you may have of why am I doing this? Well, part of the reason is because whenever a person is shopping for their first trolling motor and they're on a tight budget, they're considering whether or not to buy a very cheap one that they see at a yard sale or a brand new $140 one like this Minn Kota Endura, or whether or not to spend nearly $600 to get the 55 pound of thrust better trolling motor that still runs off 12 volts. Maybe there is a big difference, maybe there isn't. And if there isn't, maybe we don't need to be spending so much on a trolling motor. We can buy the cheapest one. Here's the parameters for the test today. For all 3 motors, I am using this old Walmart 100 amp hour lead acid deep cycle marine battery. First one on is this Minn Kota brand new 30 pound of thrust Endura. And I just opened this up the other day. Let's let her rip here. Let's turn ourselves around. Can you hear that? I don't know why it's sounding like that. Sounds like it's got a bit of vibration to it. See if there's something wrong. It's running dry, perfectly smooth. There's no wobble or vibration with the prop. It's only whenever I had it in the water. That's weird. Let's let her rip full speed this way. I'm gonna get it going a little bit first. I don't know what that thunking is. I don't know if it's normal. I have no other brand new Minn Kota 30 pound of thrust Enduras to compare it to. All right, so here we are, wide open. The most I'm hitting is 3.3 miles an hour, but right now it's settling right at 3 miles an hour. So 3 miles an hour. Let me wind it down a little bit, and we'll go the other direction. So this is my 14-foot aluminum boat. It's kind of well loaded. One of the things that all of the companies say, you want more pounds of thrust depending on how big, how heavy your boat is. Minn Kota even has it on their website, a diagram showing what they recommend for what size boat. And obviously if you're going with something with very low thrust, one of the challenges is if you get into any kind of wind or other type of situation with stronger currents and tides, it's not going to be able to perform as well. But if you're in a pond environment, still waters like this, that's not a factor. All right, going this direction, I can feel the wind coming at me, but we're still hitting about 3 miles an hour. It's literally bouncing between 2.9 and 3.1. So that's our speed with this motor right here. Now let's put on the old Shakespeare Sigma. So the nice thing about this Minn Kota is it's very lightweight. As you see, I'm handling it with one hand. Unlike the 55-pound of thrust one, which is very heavy. Ooh, this thing is in bad shape. This has been sitting in my garage for years. It's so dusty. I don't even know if it's going to work. I think I literally used this motor one time on my John boat when I first got it. So this came with my $250 John boat. The guy threw it in for free. That's when I bought this battery. So I bought this battery for this motor when I was first trying this out. Okay, let's see. So this thing's pretty cool. It's got a forward, off, reverse, and then a high, medium, low. And it works. See, you can't take a gasoline motor that's been sitting in a garage for 5 years. 5 years, maybe? Yeah. 4 or 5 years, you know, untouched, unwinterized. You can't take it and just pour some gas in it and start it. I mean, every once in a while, maybe somebody can, but for the most part, no. You're not doing that. That's not happening. All right, so I got it on medium. This is 14 pounds of thrust. Let's kick it up to high. This feels noticeably slower than the 30 pounds of thrust. We are hitting 2 miles an hour. I think we're going so slow that it's hard for this particular app to really read anything. So I'm going to try to round these off. It's going between 1.9 now and 2.6. So let's say 2.3. I'll turn it down to medium and let's do a U-turn. And we'll go the other direction. Let's let her rip. High speed. Hang on to your hats, everybody. We're going into the wind again. And looks like we're getting about 2. So what is that, like 1 mile an hour slower? It's made in USA though. Yeah, so this 50-year-old Shakespeare Sigma is giving us about a little over 2 miles an hour both ways. There's our Shakespeare Sigma. It is smoother and quieter though. All right, that was fun. So our water around here is brackish. So technically, I'm not supposed to be running either of those trolling motors. I'm supposed to be using this one here. And that's why I own this. This is a saltwater trolling motor, and this one is very heavy. So this is my 55 pound of thrust Minn Kota. This is the Riptide series. And the Riptide series are white, and they're made for saltwater use. I think they're painted white because, you know, for sailboats or something maybe, I'm not sure. They're not all this long. This one's just a really long shaft. Look how much these are new. For a 55 pound of thrust, transom mount, saltwater trolling motor. 12 volt. See how expensive that is? Quick safety note, whenever you're hooking up a trolling motor to a battery, you should have a circuit breaker or fuse in line before the battery. So that way you don't burn up your motor or cause any other kind of problems, like if you run into any weeds or anything. As for me, I live dangerously. And I think the advantage for that is if you're actually doing trolling. When I'm using a trolling motor, I'm literally sitting back here running the motor the whole time. So I'm not leaving it set while I'm actually trolling and fishing. But if you we're doing stuff like fishing, it would probably be a good idea to have a circuit breaker or fuse in line. Yeah, I wonder if there's something wrong with my brand new 30. I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't know why it's going thunk, 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 thunk. All right, let's wind this up. You can certainly feel a pull with this thing when we get up to full speed. .1. That's kind of where it's resting, is 3.1. I hear people tell me all the time when I'm running my e-propulsion or my Newport, they're like, oh, I get that same kind of speed out of my trolling motor. I don't know what kind of trolling motor they're running. I don't know how much they paid for the trolling motor that they're running. But I never can get more than about 3.1 miles an hour out of these trolling motors. This is 55 pounds of thrust with a very well-charged 100 amp hour 12 volt battery. Going this direction, same thing. The highest I'm seeing is 3.2, the lowest is 2.5. We're going into the wind. So really we're going about 3 miles an hour. For somebody just starting out, if you're on a small boat like this, and you're in freshwater, you're in a lake or you're in a pond, that Endura 30 seems like the way to go. Yes, mine might have a problem, but you know, the beauty of that is I bought that at Walmart. I can just take it right back to the store if I want to. I believe. I should be able to get a credit or a return for it. If you buy something from Amazon, the equivalent Newport can be used in saltwater. And maybe they take returns pretty easily, I don't know. Either way, on a small boat like this, I don't see any advantage for having 55 pounds of thrust versus 30 pounds of thrust.
4 to 6 days later.
I posted something to my other social media feeds asking about what I should do about this Minn Kota trolling motor. Because the simple answer is you take it back to the store. You just take it back to Walmart, I have my receipt, and say, this thing's no good, get my money back, exchange it, get another one. Or, you know, maybe just get a refund and order one of those Newports online. But somebody said it might just be your prop hitting on there. And there was a couple people who said that, and I thought, you know what, that's probably what it is. And these things are easy enough to mess with. You just need a 1/2-inch socket, and I took the nut off the prop, pulled the prop off, and sure enough, I saw these 2 silver spots on the motor housing where the prop is rubbing. And that's obviously what's making the thunking noise. I could see where it was uneven on the inside edge of it, and set a piece of 220 grit sandpaper down on a board and ran the prop back and forth like this, rubbing it on there. So sanded that all smooth. And then there was also a burr on the outside of that part that fits in with the prop. And so I sanded that burr off as well, smoothed it out, and here it is 2 days later. Right now I'm only running on speed 2. The noise, if you're hearing anything, is just the water underneath the bottom of the aluminum boat. This thing is dead silent now. Let's bump it up. All right, now we're at 3. There's a tiny little bit of vibration. 4. I mean, it's worlds better than it was. 5. So you might hear the hum of the motor. Tiny little bit of vibration in the handle. Let's turn and go the other way. I'm going into the wind here. The wind is stronger today. So yeah, I could have returned this. And do I think it's a shame that a brand new Minn Kota trolling motor had this problem? Yeah, I think it bothers me that it did. You can hear a little bit of something still. I don't know if that's the shaft wobbling or what, but My big 55-pound thrust one does not make this noise at top speed. I mean, it's certainly a lot better than it was, but it's not great. It's weird. When it was thunking, it was going faster. Because some of the numbers would come up higher than that. Like, I'm literally probably barely getting 3 miles per hour right now. Now that I've got this somewhat sorted, recommendation time. I think if you can get one of these and it's good right out of the box, or the similar Newport or other inexpensive ones that they sell on Amazon or wherever that are around $100 to $150, chances are these motors are more efficient than that old Shakespeare motor. I'm disappointed that this one wasn't great out of the box, but in a small boat like this, I don't think there's any advantage to getting the 55 pounds of thrust. And if you're on a really small body of water and somebody offers you one of those really old ones, what the heck? Give it a try. See if it works for you. Especially if you can get it for really, really cheap. But you know, at $140, this isn't bad. And it's a lot lighter than the 55-pound of thrust one too, which makes a difference in a small boat like this. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Here's another video YouTube has picked just for you. You stay safe out there on the water.